You've probably heard that email marketing has a high ROI, return on investment, but that part's only true if you actually get into people's email inboxes. And if your email inbox is a hot mess like mine right now, there's a whole bunch of people screaming at you that there are major changes that are going to cause email panic amongst all kinds of businesses and email marketers. Whoop, time out. Let's not panic about the email. Right. No more email panic. That's what I'm here to talk to you about. Coaches, consultants, course creators, digital product folks, I want you to have less headaches, even if you're feeling totally non-techie and have been overwhelmed. And if this is the first time you're hearing about this, let's back up a minute. Basically, in October of 2023, the major inbox overlords, Gmail, Yahoo, they control billions of email inboxes, came out and said, look, we got to do something about all of the spam, the true spam that's coming into people's inboxes, but more so about all of the phishing stuff that is going on, all of those emails that make you think, oh my God, do I need to click this? Is this really a delivery from Amazon? No. And this is not even like the whole Nigerian prince thing. So they want to cut down on that. And that's a good thing, folks. I don't want spam. You don't want spam. And we don't want to be seen as spam. So thank you for coming with me today. Hey, folks. And I just want to talk about a few tips to explain what's been going on with these changes. Because while that stuff was announced in October, the major inbox overlords, particularly Google, said, hey, we're going to start rolling these new changes out in February. Okay, fine. Rollout. Remember that word, rollout. The panic that I'm seeing is because well-meaning, well-intentioned folks who are even more expert than I am, have been boxes lately about you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this right the F now, because email Armageddon is going to come, and it's going to come on February 1st. Whoa, time out. No, that's not exactly what's happening. So what do we need to be worrying about? Do you really need to worry at all? Are you affected? Maybe you were like some of my friends who read this and said, oh, it said 5,000 emails a day. I don't send 5,000 emails. I've got 75 people on my list. Okay, maybe you don't need to worry right now. Or maybe you've got 1,000 people on your list. You're like, cool, you can hit 5,000 faster than you think because it's all the emails you send. Think about receipts. Think about webinar registrations. Think about, password resets for your membership, as well as, it's cart closing day on something that you're launching. So you sent 2 emails that day. Maybe you sent 3 emails that day. See, this thing can add up. I am not trying to cause panic. I'm trying to slow down the panic. The bottom line here, folks, is that yes, these rules apply. And even if they don't apply come midnight, February the 1st, they're going to be rolling out. There's that word again. And Yahoo's already come out and said that, hey, we never said 5,000 was the absolute number. So, and Microsoft has been quietly more restrictive in the past than even Google. So, folks, best practices are good. Best practices for email delivery is stuff we've been doing, hopefully, all along. Some of these technical requirements are just things we're all probably going to need to implement. Some of us just need to take those steps sooner, but with less panic. So one of the things I did, and hopefully maybe you're on my email list. Hopefully you're getting them because I did all the things and I got my check marks. I sent out a mega blog post because, folks, I'm a researcher at heart. I have a degree. I have a graduate degree and a half in research and finding out information and providing good information to people, as well as that marketing background. I'm going to put the link in the chat in the comments. You're going to want to check it out because it's got detailed step-by-step breaking all of this down, showing you examples. But let's go through a few things today. So first of all, these are the tips. That's the blog post, email delivery tips for the non-business owner. So let's see here. There's 4 key aspects of what's going on. You're going to send emails from your own domain, not Gmail, not Yahoo, not any other free sources that might have made sense when you were a budget conscious bootstrapper and you first started out. This means you're going to want something, and I'm also explaining in the blog post why you probably want to use your name and not info, not sales, not newsletter. Those are considered role-based emails. So you're going to want to use something like Jennifer at, Karen at, Claudette at, Fran at, Jane at your domain. Not like my pal, my landscaper, who's, Kevin landscaping at yahoo.com or landscaping at yahoo.com. So that's the number one thing. And we probably should have been doing that all along. You also don't have to have a website necessarily built out at that domain. You just need that email address from your domain. The reason you can't use Gmail or something else like that is because you can't authenticate it. Gmail owns that website. You can't claim Gmail. You can't claim Yahoo or Comcast or any of those other things. And that's going to get to the 4th point down there about the authentication. All of this to help prevent spoofing, to help prevent spam, to help prevent phishing is that we're trying to say that we are who we say we are when we send out emails. Most of that spam and the phishing and all of that is from people sending out emails that when it first shows up in your inbox, oh my God, it looks like it came from Amazon or UPS or the IRS or whomever they're phishing, or your domain. And then you realize you dig into the details and you're like, that's not what that says. That's some random email address. And yet some people still get taken in. I read an email in my inbox today about somebody who should know better, and she admitted she should know better. And she nearly fell for a phishing scam related to like antivirus software stuff. This is still happening. And these are why these steps are going into effect. Number 2, we want to keep a low spam complaint rate. We've always wanted that, but now Google and Yahoo and the other inbox overlords are setting a certain percentage that we are aiming to stay below. And it's less than 1%, which, folks, I understand when you've got a smaller list and you get one spam complaint, that makes it a bigger percent of the total. As you go and as you grow, that spam percent is going to fall, and 0.3% will be like one complaint out of 1,000. And I send a lot of emails. In fact, ConvertKit says that I've sent something like 25,000 individual emails in the last, 90 days or something like that. Less than 90 days. I haven't even been with ConvertKit that long. I was with ActiveCampaign before that. So it's really, really low. There are things we can do to keep it low. And some of that is things like, well, we're going to never buy a list, and we're going to send emails only to those people who have clearly, authentically opted in to receive things. We're also going to make sure that people are really clear on what they are signing up for. We want to make sure that we monitor where our traffic is coming from for landing pages. Maybe we're not running ads in certain places. Maybe our ads need to be more targeted. We need to make sure that our opt-in offer is really aligned with the rest of our content and offers. For example, you don't want to do what happened this is a true case, a scenario. I claimed something from a giveaway or a bundle a couple of years ago. I was curious what this person was offering, and it had to do with, email marketing related tips. And I wanted to say, oh, how are they approaching this? So I got their free opt-in. But then all of the emails and their newsletters that I got from this person afterwards were very spiritual, business oriented, woo, tarot card. It's like they never spoke about email marketing again. I'm like, what the what? And I know they're another small business owner, so I didn't report them as spam because I'd signed up. But you're right. I unsubscribed really fast, and I'm betting that they did get a number of complaints because that was a total mismatch. Other things to keep spam complaints low and our deliverability high. Segmenting our lists, making sure that we're sending emails to different parts of our list and not blasting the same thing to everybody all at the same time. If you have multiple businesses and multiple lists, that you're not mixing them up because people are like, wait, what? Why are you talking about the kayaking over here? Making sure that they're clear what they're getting and what you're sending and who it's for. We're going to need active processes to scrub our lists, remove those inactive, disengaged folks. And that's a little harder these days because open rates are practically meaningless and confusing. And this is something I've been working on really hard for like the last year. And I keep saying I'm going to have a workshop about this. And I swear I will. It's coming. So what are the other things that we're going to do? That clear one-click unsubscribe option. This is one of those things that's being managed in most instances by the email software that you are paying for, that you're signed up for. This is something that they're doing. It should already be in place. There's an unsubscribe link in every email that's required. The difference now is that it needs to be one click, and the person who's unsubscribing doesn't have to go and enter in any additional information. And you've probably seen this from some of the big e-commerce and email senders where you click unsubscribe and it says, hi, please tell us what email address you want to unsubscribe. I'm like, the one you just sent to right now that you should know. Yeah, that whole you have to re-enter information in, gone, boom. This one, because some of the email providers out there don't have this in place the way they should have, this one's going to take longer to roll out. This part of the requirements isn't going into effect until June. So watch for changes with your email marketing software, but this is something they should already have in place. There are some other things you're going to see floating around where, or like, oh my God, because a question that came up in my membership group when we had a call about this yesterday was, wait, I'm seeing that I have to put something like this in the header of every email. We're not talking about the header like where your profile picture is of the text of the email. It's like code header. And that's something that can be done so that, say, you show up in a Gmail box and you can see somewhere there it says Gmail's like, hi, unsubscribe. And it's Gmail taking care of the unsubscribe for you. That is another option. That is not something that is being required as of February 1st. There's the whole authenticate your emails with, here's the techie bits. Sorry, SPF, that's not sunscreen, folks, DKIM and DMARC. SPF and DKIM have been around a long time and have been recommended for those of us who are pretty serious about building and growing email communities. And again, to say we are who we say we are, and that, hey, I've given my email provider, ConvertKit, Aweber, GetResponse, Drip, MailerLite, BirdSend, I've given them permission to send from Mighty Marketing Mojo or your site. The difference here is like DMARC. That's one of those things that it used to be only the big brands had to have this policy, because that's just it. It's a policy. It says, hey, somebody's trying to spoof your emails, and here's an email that didn't quite pass the authentication and the digital certificate of SPF and DKIM. What do we do with this? And it says, well, maybe let it go through. Don't stick it over here in quarantine and send it to spam. Don't send it in at all. When you're a really big brand and you have an IT department, they can monitor the reports that come out from this DMARC stuff. We're solopreneurs. Why on earth they're making this a requirement for literally every single email marketer? I would have to ask the email inbox overlords at Google. But in the meantime, we just have to do it. The step we're going to have to take, it's easy to set up relatively, is that you're going to need to look for some tools to monitor and make sense of those reports. And do not get sucked in by anybody saying that you're going to have to sign up and spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars to monitor your DMARC. No, there are free plans and free tools out there. I'm testing one right now. The blog post has a list of others that you should take a look at that could be an option for you. Okay, that's all well and good, but I can still see there's still some panic going on here, because what the F is a SPF or a DKIM? These are things that need to be entered. Your email provider is going to tell you, hey, here's the code and the text and the values. You need to go to take that to where your DNS records are hosted. For most of us, that's our website, our web host. And in many cases, they can help us do this. I've got examples in the blog post that show what this code looks like, as well as lots of links on how to do this. And there's a video in there that I did a while back on how to go into the cPanel at your web host and enter one of these records. I've gone through it. I've seen a lot of groups where everybody's like, okay, I did those things. That actually didn't seem as hard. Why is everybody panicking still about this? Well, it's this. There's still some myths going around. The true thing is that, yes, these changes are rolling out starting in February of 2024, in, a relatively few days. Starting. It is false that email Doomageddon is going to start at midnight on February 1st, and that if you haven't taken all of these steps and authenticated every email coming out of every instance that you've ever sent from anywhere, that you're going to be doomed and wind up in spam immediately come February 1st. No, that is, I'm so up in arms that smart people that I know and trust are still putting this out there, and that there are a bunch of tech bro dude marketers who are selling stuff right now, and including at some, what I consider relatively high costs, to say, oh my God, you're going to fix this. They're preying on people's fear that come February 1st, any email they send is going to immediately go to spam. It's not. It's not. And I'm going to tell you who says it's not. Yes, it is true that if your emails aren't delivered, your business can suffer. That's why we're going to take some of these steps. Like I said, it's also false. You do not necessarily have to pay big bucks for this to be fixed in the next 5 days or else. It's a rollout. It's not a singular hard, fast deadline. And I wish that more people were putting this information out there. In February, a tiny percent of non-compliant emails will show up with error codes, and they may get delayed. Not disappear into the internet ether forever. We're going to monitor, but like that whole DMARC thing, we're going to make changes, and we're going to keep up our good email practices starting with February. We're going to make sure that, oh, hey, turns out that emails are being sent on behalf of my domain from my email calendar scheduling software. Let's make sure that that's authenticated. We're going to make sure that we go into that SPF record and say, hey, so ConvertKit can send on my behalf, and Zoom can send on my behalf, because apparently they, my webinar registrations have been going out with my domain, not Zoom's. Or, oh, hey, I need to make sure that Heartbeat, where I have a private members and students community, it sends emails based on my domain. So let me go make sure that that record is added in. But other ones may be sending out, and you're like, oh, hey, I've got a friend who her course emails come from Podia or Podia. We're not sure how you say that one. And it's signed with Podia's domain name and domain email, not hers. She doesn't necessarily have to worry about this right now. So that's one of those things. We're going to make a list of every place that sends automated emails out and figure out, are they sending it on behalf of my domain, where it has your name and domain name coming in that email from box, or is it actually coming from Heartbeat's domain, or Stripe's domain, or PayPal's domain, or, oh, I forgot that something else is turned on somewhere. Part of that is the reason why we're setting that DMARC value, why P equals none is okay at first, and we're going to have that monitoring service to tell us oh my God, I didn't even remember that their emails are coming from such and such place, before we turn it over and say, hey, nope, if things aren't right, we're going to reject stuff. By April, a larger percentage of the non-compliant emails may get rejected, and that rate and percentage is going to increase gradually. Do you see here where I'm saying the world doesn't end on February 1st? By June 1st, there will be more rejection of non-compliant emails, and this is where the absolute one-click unsubscribe part has to go fully into effect. And you know where all of this information came from? Google. I didn't pull this out of my hat. I'm a researcher. I went and got the source information. This is what Google says is happening. Let me show you. See, that's the sender guidelines. That's from Google's own FAQ. Those are the dates. So folks, we need to take steps to make sure that we're being authentic and people know that they're getting emails from who they signed up for. But the world of email marketing and sending does not go into the toilet come February 1st. So we're going to take the steps, follow the guidelines, do the recommended steps that are coming from your email marketing provider. That's the first place that you need to go and authenticate, because that is the place that you're most likely having emails sent out one to many. They're going to have your domain attached to them. That's your marketing emails. I want you to go and double check and see, oh, hey, I have course receipts or my membership receipts, and where are they coming from? Where's your shopping cart or your course platform? And is it one where they're sending emails and it comes out from their domain? This was something that was going on and talked about from, say, Kajabi. And there's a lot of people who are using Kajabi, and the emails are coming from Kajabi, and it says that this email came from Kajabi, versus if you're using your own custom domain, because they can't authenticate that. They don't have your login to your domain and your DNS. That's one where you're like, hey, domain SPF record says Kajabi can send on my behalf. Or I noticed, for example, ThriveCart. There's a record in there that says, oh, hey, certain emails, there's a I've got a domain with ThriveCart, but then if you actually go look in and you can see my receipts, they're coming from ThriveCart's domain, not mine. So let's not panic over everywhere that emails are being sent out from. I know that I've also seen a lot of confusion over, but I run my domain's emails through Google, what used to be G Suite, now Google Workspaces. It can be beneficial to authenticate Google Workspaces as an FPF record, but keep it in mind, most times when you're sending an email out of Gmail, it's a one-to-one email, not a one-to-many email. So it's the one-to-many emails that we want to make sure that we're authenticating, that we're giving permission to send on our behalf first. That's the SPF. The domain key, it's like, when we used to write things, if you're a kid and you ever wrote like, I'm going to write something in lemon juice, and you can't see it. And then at the other end, the person gets it and they heat it up with a candle or a flashlight. And you're like, I can see the code message. That's what DKIM is saying. It's like, hi, I sent this. Here's the code. And at the other end, it says, oh, yep, I recognize that code. It's legit. Nothing's changed in between. This email has not been messed with between me and the people that I'm wanting to send it to on my email list. So those are those two parts. The debark part is that says that something went wrong or it was fishy or there's an SPF record missing somewhere. What do we do with this email? So do run checks. Do testing to see where you are with this rollout. But remember that it is a rollout. You can actually go also into your Gmail. You can send I sent an email out recently, went out to my list. I'm sending via ConvertKit. I can go in and yes, I have my own Gmail addresses in my list for testing purposes, all kinds of things. And I can go in and you can click. There's 3 little dots up at the top right corner in that email. If you go down, it says show original, you can see, did that email pass after you've done the steps for the SPIF, DKIM, and DMARC. In fact, I will, you know what? I'm just going to go and show you that right now. It is in the blog post, but I'm going to show it to you live just so you can see that, I know what I'm talking about because, I've actually taken these steps. So let me pull up. There we go. I'm going to share my screen. And we have to, there we are. And we're going to allow that. It's been a while since I live streamed, folks, so I haven't, I'm out of practice. So here's an email that I sent, and it's in one of my Gmail inboxes. And I'm going to go over here to more. And I click show original. It's going to pull it up, and you can see, look, pass, pass, pass. I'm good. The emails that are coming out from ConvertKit, my mass emails from my domain, all show pass, pass, pass. Okay. And it did not take me. I know I'm a little more techie. I'm your techie gal. But I got those 3 records copied in and added into my DNS server at my domain. There's videos, there's screenshots of how to do it in the blog post. And I'm going to make sure that I go put that blog post right now in the comments if you haven't already read it. If you're not on my list, if you didn't get it, you're going to want to, check this out. Email help. And I'm going to put that in and I'm going to send that out. So hopefully you can take a deep breath and know that you're going to keep taking steps. You're going to reach out if you need to get help from your web host. You can reach out. You can ask me questions in my group. The world is not going to end for email marketers and email senders come February 1st. Keep taking the steps. Keep monitoring, but know that this is a rollout. Google, Yahoo, all of them, they actually want the right emails to show up in your inbox. They don't want you to stop getting emails. They are not out to kill all of email. They're out to stop the people that are, black hatting this in the world. We've got this. We can do this. You can do this, folks. And we can take a little deep breath and keep working on this in February as we make those lists. When I went through this with my membership in the Tech Therapy Hangout, I had a couple of members who were like, oh, I forgot. I might have this other tool connected and it might be sending something. Make that list. We can check and see where does that list, where does that tool say it is sending from? Do we need to add them to that SPF record? That's why in many instances, it is okay to set the DMARC up and it's going to say none, and you're going to run it through tests and it's going to come back yellow and you're going to go like, oh my God, but I thought I did everything right. You did. You did. It's just that eventually Gmail, Yahoo, and the others want things to get stricter than none in that DMARC policy. Okay. Read the blog post, follow along the steps, ask me questions. Come ask questions in the Mighty Marketing Mojo Facebook group, and I will do my best to help answer them for you. I do have availability, a little bit of availability on the Borrow My Brain. If you need help getting in and getting the very basics of this set up with your email provider. But I promise you this can be done. You don't have to panic, and you do not have to pull an all-nighter on January 31st. Okay? Thank you, Mighty Pals. Keep sending good, high-quality emails. Keep an engaged list. Hang with me as we're going to work all throughout 2024 on all the ways that we can have an active, engaged email community, because it is still one of the highest returns on investment in our businesses. So thank you, Mighty Pals. I can't wait to get emails from you. Make sure I know how to sign up to your list.